Okay, so I think this thing is connecting. Welcome to the Real Truth channel. I'm going to try to put to rest some of the myths that have been propagated in the industry. One of the biggest ones, I think, is the fact that real estate is a safe investment. Okay, in the US, it crashed. People knew it was going to crash. Nobody wanted to hear it. Everybody was saying that no, there's not going to be a crash. Well, this is bullshit, people. Real estate, I don't care what it is, real estate, gold, equities, tulip bulbs, these are all things that can be pushed to extreme using greed. It's simply greed that pushes something like oil. There's no reason for oil to ever be $150 a barrel. It's speculators that push it to the extreme. And like somebody explained to me today, it's us that suffer. We suffer because speculators are making money and we pay the price at the pump. Well, speculators have pushed the housing industry in the US, Canada, Britain, China, as they always do, because of greed, have pushed it to limits that are just not sustainable, people. And I don't care how many Chinese are moving here to Canada. I don't care what interest rates are doing. I don't care all the rhetoric that I've heard that it's just going to keep going up forever. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Now look, the US had a housing crisis which caused a credit crisis and caused a crash caused a recession. That recession was felt in Canada, Britain, Australia, it's troubling in Greece. All these toxic assets. Well, these toxic assets haven't gone away. The big claim is Canada is so much better because we didn't get into all this monetarization. Bullshit. It's crap. We just haven't gotten there yet. If you look at your investment portfolio, especially bonds, what you will see is monetarized CMHC bonds. Mine is filled with them. What do you think those are? Those are guarantees that CMHC made to guarantee all these mortgages and then package them as investments. And who bought them? The mutual fund companies, the bond funds, the hedge funds, and your retirement fund bought these products. Do you think these products are any better than the ones that were bought in the US? None whatsoever. The only difference why we haven't had a crash yet, when our crash was happening 2 years ago, CMHC stepped in, changed the rules, and allowed everybody to use their backing. Well, think about it. Now everybody could get a mortgage at 5%. This artificially created a market. It created more leverage. And people, what you don't want to do is leverage more in an upswing economy, because there's going to be a bubble and it's going to crash. When that happens, your leveraged investment is going to take you out. What have people been leveraging the most? Real estate. Well, when you can get a loan, when I can get $500,000 on a single salary, something is wrong here. Something is drastically wrong. The ability to pay back your mortgage, the ability to make a payment every month, has nothing to do with affordability. It's artificial, it's fake. Don't get into this thinking that, oh, because I can make the payment, I can afford this asset. No, because you are far more leveraged than you ever need to be. Okay, so getting back to my topic. What is happening in the real estate industry here in Canada is no different than what's happened in the US, except for the fact that CMHC backed all these mortgages and they plummeted the interest rate to 0.25. This created variable rate mortgages under 2%. This is free money, people. And nobody really caught on. It's really strange that there wasn't, even with all this, that there wasn't a bubble. We just didn't get there. It didn't crash enough for the sentiment to sway. Well, things have changed. Things have changed drastically in the last couple of months. Interest rates are going up. They're not going down. They're going to go up another point come September, and the industry is already changing. In the last 3 months, there has been a drastic change. That wave is going to keep going. I find it very strange. I've come up with this theory that the longer something happens, the more people believe it will stay the same. And this just simply is not true. The possibility of change is always there with us. Just because a market continues for a stretch, such as this one has for 10 years, does that mean it's going to continue? No, just the opposite. The more likelihood is the longer something continues at an unrealistic rate, the higher the chance that it's going to implode. But people don't see it that way. Everybody I talk to, even though the industry now is collapsing, they still think, but it's not going to collapse very much, 10%, maybe 5%. And we see that with all these so-called economists. All these economists are talking for 6 and 7% growth this year and next. And this is just horseshit. It's just not realistic, people. My theory is people can't see past the end of their nose. And the longer something continues, such as a bubble, such as an equity bubble like we've had for the last 10 years in real estate, then the less they can see. I guess in theory, the longer their nose. They really can't see, but you come 6 months from now, people are going to be going, what happened? Oh wow, look at that, we're collapsing. Nobody saw this coming. People, there's lots of people that saw this coming. But because it's it's not what the real estate agents, the mortgage specialists, the people at CIBC, all these so-called economists, it's not what they want to see happen. They portray what they want to see. They portray the best scenario. It's always good news. It's always a good time to buy. It's always a good time to get a mortgage. But that isn't true. Bubbles happen, bubbles form because of greed. Human greed and nothing else. And that's why we have recessions, that's why we have market bubbles, and that's why we have crashes. It's not because of the Chinese, it's not because of the Ukrainians, it's not because of a lack of housing, it's not because of affordability, none of those things. Regular human greed. Look at every single stock market bubble, every single stock market crash. It's caused by speculation. People think that this thing is going to be worth something in the future because it's going up now. We've had 10 years of unprecedented growth. 10 years of real estate appreciating at sometimes 3 times inflation, especially this last year where it's gone up 20%. This is not sustainable. Well, that's the real truth. Thank you. Now, how do I shut this thing off? The red button.